Hi, I'm Olivia Hack.
Hi, I'm Paul Cetera.
I'm Jennifer Elise Cox.
Hi, I'm Christopher Daniel Barnes.
I'm Christine Taylor. Welcome
to Behind the Scenes
of a very Brady sequel.
Hello, E.
We're like right here. We're there, that's horrifying.
It's time to change, and it's time to change. Don't fight the time.
Stay with us as the unhippest of the unhip tear down the wood paneling to reveal what really happened during the making of this super cool sequel.
It's far out.
It gets pretty ugly.
This was just a travesty.
The main thing happening with myself here is Greg's burgeoning sexuality.
Side saddle or bareback?
Find out what making the first Brady movie did to the film's stars.
Well, I guess we've all become insane.
It's giving me voices in my head that I didn't need.
One at a time!
Here's some uncensored complaints from the cast.
What's the deal with Sam not being in this sequel? That's what I want to know.
There's one downside. There's no toilet.
You're going to see some really horrifying things in this movie.
And learn about some other skeletons lurking in the Brady closet.
Oh, I think it's empty in there.
She has a crush on Peter.
She has wild, mad, passionate sex with Sam and no one knows it.
I do like the bedroom.
And finally, we'll let you in on how those Brady ladies keep their girlish figures.
Meatloaf, bacon for breakfast, pancakes, meat and starches.
So, if you're a fan of these saccharine siblings and your favorite colors are harvest gold and avocado green, you'll be in 70s heaven as we go behind the scenes of a very Brady sequel.
Oh, we're rolling? Okay, and I'm off camera, so we'll just stay on a one-shot.
I shouldn't say mother or anything like that.
Leave that out.
Hold it just a minute, kids. I think you all have some explaining to do.
It's really easy.
The first Brady Bunch movie was one of many films based on TV series in the last few years. But only a handful of those movies managed to score big at the box office and win some decent reviews. The Brady Bunch movie was one of them. So this summer, the Brady Brood is back on the big screen, and the buzz is good.
I'm sure you kids know the right thing to do.
Mike, maybe you better tell them.
Let me see you enter.
This time around, director Arlene Sanford is at the helm. Sanford, who cut her teeth on HBO's hit series Dream On, was a little apprehensive about being one of the few newcomers on the set.
It was very scary. The first week of shooting was terrifying. I'll tell you where you can come from. It might be just a little bit closer. But I'm used to it because coming from television, you often, unless you've done the pilot and started off a show, you come into a show where the cast is already together and they know what they're doing, and the guy who cleans the floor tells you how you're going to do the show. The good news is that they all knew each other, so that whole period where you're sniffing each other out, or at least where the cast is, well, I didn't have to deal with that at all. So I think whatever fear I had about it was totally outweighed by the advantages.
Arlene is a devoted fan of the Brady Bunch and quite an authority on the Brady Bunch. She gets very emotional when she talks about the Brady Bunch.
And action.
Oh, no!
Sanford's devotion to the TV series did not keep her from trying to push the envelope in the sequel, and that ruffled some feathers early on.
When I read the version of this script, the second script, I thought that possibly there was a mistake being made by going as far as this script does in some areas.
They made this, the sequel a little bit edgier.
There's more liberty taken with dialogue and what happens.
It's a little bit meaner, and I think it needed to go that way.
According to director Sanford, these changes are merely a function of the storyline.
I think this movie is perhaps a little edgier. Because this character from the 90s comes into the household of the Bradys, this is Carol's first husband, he allows the family to act in ways that they normally wouldn't. He's the catalyst for some very odd behavior.
Alice, this is Roy, Mrs. Brady's first husband. He's not dead like we originally thought.
Tim Matheson stars as Carol Brady's first husband, Roy.
Oh, Marcia. I'm the Antichrist, yes. Or somebody said I was the anti-Brady.
Sandy.
Cindy.
Cindy?
Matheson had no qualms about playing the heavy opposite the squeaky clean Brady clan.
I need some advice.
Put yourself up for adoption. You know, I like having a character that can be rude and crude and walk the line and say things that maybe are politically incorrect.
Hey, do you think Mr. Martin will want to join us for some breakfast?
I tried to wake him up and he told me to stuff it. He must think we're having turkey for lunch.
There are moments where the Brady kids aren't the sweet, naive people that you'd expect, and they almost like they turn on Mike a little bit. They like this other guy better because he's a little more exciting.
If Roy is really Mom's husband, does that mean
we're not brother and sister?
And then, of course, Marcia and Greg have this little attraction toward each other, which is most entertaining, we hope.
Whoa, what? A little attraction between Marcia and Greg? Well, that sounds like Brady blasphemy at its most decadent. Aren't we crossing a line here?
We endeavor to discover the answer to that question. They don't share everything, apparently, but it's funny.
We walk a really thin line, and reading the script on paper, it scared me to death. I mean, because I am a true Brady fan, and to me, this was just a travesty. This was something that really could be offensive to people, and I know that the first movie appealed to a lot of kids, so the whole subject matter of it scared me a little bit too.
Sugar, oh honey, honey.
Well, it was just going right up to the edge and looking over, but it wasn't actually going over the edge.
Over the course of the last 2.5 years, or whenever it was we first met and started shooting the first movie, we all really got close. And so to Chris and I, this felt like a very incestuous thing anyway, you know, brother and sister, and here we have all these flirtation scenes and, you know, where we're about to kiss, and then
kiss? Greg and Marcia kiss? What kind of family values are being promoted here?
And you got me wanting you.
Well, hey there, foxy lady.
It works because it's innocent. They didn't run off to the back of a Chevy, and they couldn't help themselves. And you know, hormones do rage at that age.
The day we shot that was just insane because everybody on the set was just dead silence after we did it. And Chris and I were sort of like, oh God, you know, like it just felt like a little too brotherly, sisterly. And Jennifer had to walk off. I mean,
I couldn't take it.
Despite the script's somewhat racy deviations, the Brady cast is confident their clan will continue to be embraced by their fans.
Naturally. We're Brady's.
They're bulletproof, I think.
Even though we poke fun endlessly at ourselves and each other and the 90s and the show and whatever, it's always done with that consciousness of that the family really is valued.
I think the Bradys are the quintessential family. They're the family that everyone wants to be like.
When we return, our stars explain how they slipped back into their Brady characters.
Visually, it's quite a transformation.
The truth is, once you put on that wardrobe for the cast, you're there.
That was a little horrifying, actually.
The patterns are a blur. It's the fabric that, you know, I can deal without.
In our world, we are very cool. We are,
Yeah, that's right, in the
we are
Brady
the
world.
gods of cool.
welcome back to behind the scenes of a very Brady sequel.
What's me? Not Marcia.
Me.
Dan, wait, me.
Now, Marcia, I'm going to need all the help I can get. I'm going to make a 3-tiered wedding cake, and on top, I'm going to...
Once the actors got to the set, they had to dig in their heels and rediscover their characters in earnest. And each actor had their own peculiar method of doing so.
Being in the house again, it felt like, okay, I was in this really strange dream where I was in the Brady Bunch movie, and now I'm back here again. The first thing I did, I remember, was just run up that staircase that's so famous. And our set was on the old sound stage where they shot the series. Getting Jan's voice was very important.
Marcia,
It's not really a hard thing to do. You put your THs where your S's are, and, well, I don't think Mommy would allow a horse in the house, and just, you know, do that sort of thing.
I'll be Greg for now, for the moment, all right? I got the hunch.
Alice came from the acting school of mugging a lot, but she, you know, the face and her smile was always so big. But her voice is higher. Mine's kind of deep as Henriette. Her voice is, oh, Mr. Brady, her voice is higher.
I can make this chest so concave.
Shelley has a little preparation that she does to become Carol. She has a little bit of a different voice as Carol Brady than she does as Shelley Long. And she does a little bird sound, and she goes, "Oh, Mike."
Oh, Mike. Marcia. Jan. Peter. Who are you? For those of you who are interested in anatomy, in order to do the voice that sounds like the character that Florence Henderson originated, the Carol voice, I have to change my voice a lot. I have to soften my soft palate. I have to flex it. And that requires exercise. I would do it before every take just to kind of warm up that voice. I'll try to do this without breaking sound equipment. Oh, oh, oh! So that was my warm-up.
And we pretty much had everyone on the crew doing that by the end of the show, and she had a real good sense of humor about that.
Then at one point I wasn't working at all in Hawaii, and they were near some zoo or something. I'm not there. They're rolling camera, they're rolling sound, and out of the blue comes, oh, 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 and it was a monkey in the zoo somewhere, and someone said it kind of fit in and made everybody feel at home. I think it got applause and worked out great.
Of course, one of the things that helped these actors get into character was their far-out 70s hairdos.
Hair acting. A lot of hair acting.
I'll do a hair flip for you. Ready?
Now, this hairdo was in training, I believe, some 6 months before we started shooting.
And every morning they would wet it, blow dry it, and curl it under and puff it up and make it all frizzy.
This thing on top of my head is a wig, and it's real hair, and it's comfortable. Sometimes it gets hot and itchy.
Yeah, there's no way I would walk on the planet with that hairdo. The first time I saw it with the wig, I considered, another career.
A shirt is featured.
And then when I saw it with the wig and the clothes, I was sure of that.
Yes, the clothes must have clinched it for this ensemble, and the cast has strong feelings about their wardrobes.
Wacky clothes.
Clothes?
They were hideous.
Yeah, they're like a vice. It's like right out of the Middle Ages, those pants.
This is such a standard question for people always want to know, do you get to keep the clothes? Well, first of all, in the first movie, I got to burn one outfit. I didn't do it, but I was given that option. I had requested that option, actually. Of course, that's the one that was copied by one of the couturier houses, that outfit. I swear to you.
There's always that kind of second consideration that you say, wow, I'm going to get back into this polyester clothing. That's, I don't know.
And they really itched a lot.
I have this 70s bathing suit that's really just not cute, not attractive at all.
The Catholic schoolgirl in me is very happy that I had to wear the same uniform every day.
Cut. Very nice. I want to do one more.
Now, it's one thing to look like an acid trip gone terribly wrong on a soundstage, but imagine having to parade around in full Brady regalia at a local ball, in full view of the public, doing a musical number, no less.
Autumn turns to winter, and then winter turns to spring. It's not just the seasons, it calls for everything.
It was a little unusual, and I know that some of the cast felt when I first told them what was going to be going on, they couldn't quite believe it.
We shot it down in Santa Monica. It was bizarre.
It was a little odd. We had a crowd around us.
I think it was a lot weirder for people who were not part of the movie to see the Bradys dancing on Thirsty Promenade than it was for those of us who knew they were going to be there.
The most remarkable thing was that the people, the way they respond to the Brady kids, it was like being with the Pope or Santa Claus or something. I mean, everybody just loves these kids, and they have favorite ones, and they were getting autographs and stuff, and I was like, wow, this is like the Beatles.
When we return, we'll find out which Brady kid is most likely to succeed.
You know, as he's getting older, he's getting to be a groovy guy.
Most likely to be popular for the rest of her life.
Most likely to become a senator.
I think Jan's would be most likely to join a cult.
And our adult stars reveal what they're like in real life.
As Shelley Long, which is really hard to find underneath all of this.
Confused and vacant are the two adjectives that come to mind.
I am as close to God as I'm likely to get.
Welcome back to Behind the Scenes of a Very Brady sequel. I'm prettier, aren't I? I don't think so.
Marcia, you have grown up to be so gorgeous.
I know.
And Jan, isn't Marcia gorgeous?
By 90s standards, all the Brady kids are portrayed as nerdy misfits in a Very Brady sequel. But no one takes a beating like Jan.
Hi, I've got to tell you. Delivery of flowers for Jan Brady? Thank you. Oh, they're from my boyfriend, George Glass.
Oh, very nice. She really is an outcast in her mind, I think. Well, I mean, the bad hairstyle and the braces and, you know, that doesn't help her. She's going through an awkward phase.
Sure, Jan.
But I think the one thing that makes her an outcast is that she's obsessed with Marcia. She's just, you know, she's completely obsessed with, you know, the whole jealousy thing. And that's, you know, it's gonna get in her way.
Marcia, you're just jealous. Just because your icky old charm won't work on E. If boys don't find you... Let's do it again. Do you want to do it again?
I think I love Jan, you know, because she was the underdog and the middle kid.
Mrs. Cummings, hi.
Jan, how are you doing? How's your summer going?
Well,
More than a few members of the cast and crew really empathize with Jan, including gender bender RuPaul, who portrays Jan's guidance counselor in the film.
RuPaul was he's so great. He's so sweet to me. And I think he really relates to the character of Jan, as do, I think, a lot of people, that she is this outsider and she's really misunderstood. She has this perfect older sister. I can't even imagine what it would be like to have an older sister who is just as perfect as Marcia. And RuPaul related to that because he said growing up, he felt very much like an outsider.
Mama, she's teasing me again.
According to the makers of this film, the misfit middle child is a pretty common element of the American family.
She never gets yelled at. Everybody loves Moesha. Moesha, Moesha, Moesha.
Carol.
The adult actors who watched the Bradys back in the 70s now have children of their own. And we wondered if they compared their parenting skills to the Bradys.
Well, Mike and Carol had the luxury of not being in reality in terms of their parenting. My parenting has more to do with small children than the ages of the Brady children. So I don't base anything in reality compared to the Bradys. To me, it's a way another ballgame.
Background action.
Even though these grown-ups didn't pick up any parenting pointers from the Bradys, simply being in the film helped them make points with their children.
My son's 2.5 and my girls are 8 and 9 right now. And, you know, to be candid, really, they know what I do. I got no respect. They dissed me terribly, or didn't care what I did, you know, until I got this job with the Bradys, you know. And I mean, now they want to come on the set. They want to, you know, they got photographs. They want to, you know, everything.
I was telling my daughter recently, you know, the 70s clothes have returned, and I don't say this with any great pride or sense of power, but I think the Brady Bunch has contributed to that.
There's more ahead as we search for signs of reality in the Brady dimension.
How many moms look like Carol Brady?
It's the Twilight Zone episode.
Stick around for more of Behind the Scenes from a Very Brady sequel.
Welcome back to Behind the Scenes of a Very Brady sequel.
Let me hear some of that good time music that I love to hear. I got plenty of blues
wondered which TV sitcom our stars thought was the most realistic. And believe it or not, none of them chose the Brady Bunch.
Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah.
That's the most realistic family on television.
Definitely.
Married with children.
That old show,
The Beavers?
Oh,
The Cleavers?
The Seavers.
Roseanne.
Why do you?
Grooviest chick in the Brady